Hi, I'm Sati Niangi. Happy Saturdays, ladies and gentlemen. This is WrestleTalk News, and here's the top story. Last night saw the first public appearance of CM Punk since his AEW firing 2 weeks ago, as he once again took to the announce booth for Cage Fighting Fury Championship 125 event. To open the broadcast, there was a classic wink wink nudge nudge to Punk's AEW dismissal from CWFC co-commentator John Morgan, who said that CM Punk was back in the CWFC with cause. Now, considering UFC and WWE are now one under the TKO group and CWFC airs on UFC Fight Pass, can we technically say that CM Punk returned to WWE last night? No. Well, regardless, we may not need to wait too long to see the real thing happen after all. Punk was talking about him and his hosts needing a post-fight show to break the action down when he was asked by fellow commentator Rob Haydack if he had time on his hands. To which Punk answered, "Yeah, I got time on my hands for the next 2 months. What's happening in 2 months? Oh, it's only WWE Survivor Series in Chicago." Oh, shit. Yes, while this is likely Punk just stirring the pot here, you never know. Let's just do the rational thing, guys, and raise our expectations to unrealistic levels for November 25th, shall we?
You got a map on your watch?
No, it's clobbering time! Yeah! Moving on to Punk's old nemesis, my favorite wrestler of all time, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who shockingly returned to the WWE on last night's SmackDown, whooping Austin Fury's candy, a double crooked letter. What does Rock's return mean? One and done? Or is this the beginning of something more? Well, prior to SmackDown, Rock appeared on the Pat McAfee show, and the topic of his much-rumored WrestleMania 39 match with Roman Reigns was brought up. Rock revealed that his showdown with his cousin was locked in, with Rock, Nick Khan, and Vince McMahon all shook hands on Mania 39 main event happening. Yet, closer to the time, they couldn't nail down exactly what they were doing. So it didn't materialize, but did drop a massive tease of when we may see the Bloodline Bonanza take place. So we got really close, but we couldn't actually nail what that thing was. So we decided to put our pencils down. We agreed, hey, listen, there's a merger coming up. Eventually, that will happen. There's WrestleMania in Philadelphia. Raises his eyebrow. Oh boy, that eyebrow says 1,000 words, all right. Sorry, Cody, you may have to finish the story on Raw. Adrenaline leaves my soul. Finishing up today's news, we end with a quick follow-up on yesterday's top story regarding WWE's mass layoffs. While it was reported by House of Wrestling that major talent cuts were coming, so far so good in that regard, as none were announced yesterday. However, that's not to say the damage was not significantly done to WWE's office workforce, with over 100 employees laid off by the company, according to PW Insider. Insider would go on to report that some divisions within WWE were absolutely ripped apart by the layoffs, specifically the Insight and Analytics team, which began yesterday with 20 team members and ended with just 3. Amongst the layoffs were notable names such as WWE's Executive VP of Development and Digital, Jamie Horowitz, Executive VP and Head of Marketing, Catherine Newman, Director of Enterprise, Master Data and Governance, Amanda Bloom, and surprisingly, Dana Warrior, the wife of the late WWE Hall of Famer Ultimate Warrior, who was working in the company's community outreach department. Fun fact, Dana Warrior's entire tenure lasted longer than Ultimate Warrior's combined run in the WWE. Isn't that mad? For further information and updates on all the layoffs, check out WrestleTalk.com. We'd also like to take time to wish all those affected their very best wishes. Now, before I hand over to the beautiful Canadian man with a beautiful mask that does a great job in a 1-minute take, I want to thank my writer, Jamie. Thanks for writing my script every single week. I appreciate you. Next up, we have the GOAT himself, the greatest of all time here on WrestleTalk. He's won every accolade you can think of, including winning my friendship and my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, is the beautiful masked man himself, Tempest B. Canada. Oh, yes. Do the nana. Yeah. Swerve. When I swerve. House of the Black Mask, and the camera goes black.
This is Rampage, baby. It's Saturday day, so start the clock. We open Rampage with a high-flying affair as the Hardys and the Lucha Bros teamed up. I pressed the wrong button. God damn it. Oh my god. They beat Team TNA and the Butcher and the Blade in an 8-man tag team match. Satnam Singh tossed Alex Abrahantes around, doing the Lord's work before Rey Fenix got the win, building towards his match with Jon Moxley. Also, the Righteous danced over the Hardys. I don't know why. The Kingdom beat Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels in a Ring of Honor match, and then they said they wanted the Ring of Honor tag titles from MJF and Adam Cole, and now those two wanting those titles makes a little bit more sense. Britt Baker challenged Chris Statlander for Collision, and Swerve says the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage will face the Hung Bucks at Grand Slam, and I say it's time for another match. The Acclaimed beat the Outliers and Peter Avalon, and then the Dark Order challenged them to a Trios title match. I really wish I cared more about the Trios division than I do right now. Where have all the Trios gone? Aussie Open beat 2 Enhancement Talent, and then we had our main event as Chris Statlander beat Jade Cargill to retain the TBS Championship in a really good match that somehow has ended up maybe being Jade's last ever AEW match.
You did it, because it's 8 seconds overlay. There was a screw up with the remote, so technically, time!
Yeah, swerve when I drive. Yeah, swerve when I drive. Yeah, swerve when I drive. Yeah, swerve. And now for something completely different. Well, not completely different. It's still wrestling. Onward to SmackDown. We kick off The Rock's show, SmackDown, with the return of Pat McAfee, who is here to cut a promo on Austin Theory and not join the commentary team for the night. I am gutted. However, boo! However, my mood quickly improves because this WrestleMania reunion is quickly interrupted by the actual, honest-to-God, motherfucking Rock! He comes down to the ring and says Austin Theory from A-Town is an a-hole and gets half the building to chant "you are" and the other half to chant "an asshole." Like a fucking symphony conductor. No one can make the audience sing quite like The Rock. Theory gets mad and The Rock and Pat McAfee both give him the people's elbow. When I envisioned The Rock's return to SmackDown, I kind of thought he'd be confronting Roman Reigns and not, well, Austin Theory, but I'll take what I can get because my God, you really get reminded what true star power is when that man shows up. We had our first match as Finn Balor beat AJ Styles. It goes without saying that the work here was very crisp. I don't think these two know how to work any other way, but this was a TV opener. A good TV opener, but a TV opener for sure. The Judgment Day got kicked out of ringside, but as AJ was going for the Styles Clash, Jimmy Uso ran in and distracted AJ long enough for Finn to roll him up. If AJ's being lined up to wrestle Roman Reigns at some point in the near future, I would really rather he be winning matches, but hey, a good TV opener this was. Jimmy Uso is shown backstage and Finn Balor thanks him for the assist and tells him that both he and Jay are welcome in the Judgment Day, and there's no Roman. What a perk! Jimmy says thanks but no thanks and Balor walks off as Paul Heyman, who had very clearly been lurking in the shadows, walked up to Jimmy. The Rock and McAfee are shown being chummy backstage when The Rock turns around to see John Cena. They have a stare down before they hug. Wholesome. No thrice in a lifetime here. Rey Mysterio and the LWO are in the ring, and Rey says that a year ago when he came to SmackDown, he was at a crossroads in his life and was miserable. Way to go, Dom. But the fans made him believe again, and now he is with his new family and is the United States champion. Santos Escobar says that his dream has always been to face his idol in a match for a championship, and that Rey is family. When Austin Theory took him out, Rey took his place, and now he asks Rey for a title match, and Rey accepts. They are then interrupted by Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, who come down and say, really nothing? They say this love fest is awkward and that teams are breaking up around here, and then Cruz del Toro cut him off with some Spanish, and Joaquin Wilde interrupted them to do his best Tempest impression, saying they're ready for a fight, so let's go! We then go to a commercial, and when we get back, the match between them and the Street Profits goes maybe a minute, with the Profits hitting Revelation and getting the win. I'm sorry, but these two are the most jobber-ass tag team on SmackDown right now. After the match, Lashley and the Street Profits beat down the LWO, which is probably the most out-and-out heel move they have done so far. We then had the A-list rematch as LA Knight once again beat The Miz. Yeah! The match was fine, not as good as their match at Payback, but again, TV match. Miz kicked Knight in the eye to get the heat. Knight avoided a DDT by holding onto the rope, but Miz managed to hit a code breaker through the ropes for a near fall before Knight was able to fire up and hit the BFT for the win. Yeah! After the match, Knight got his time to do a promo, and he said the goal has always been gold. He says he doesn't care if it's Rey Mysterio, Gunther, Seth Rollins, or Roman Reigns, LA Knight is always top 2, and he isn't number 2. Yeah, he's definitely facing Roman. He ain't doing this for no reason. Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa are watching backstage, and Heyman is losing his grip because Jimmy is talking to the Judgment Day, and things are happening without Roman Reigns say so. Solo said he knows what he has to do, and Paul says, "Who gave that order?" Call Roman Reigns! Bayley and Dakota Kai are backstage, and Bayley says she hopes Io is ready for Asuka, but Dakota says after everything that's happened with Shotzi, maybe Bayley is the one that needs to be ready for Asuka. We then got our match, as Bayley was indeed not ready for Asuka, or Shotzi for that matter. Bayley had Asuka on the outside, and Shotzi popped up from behind the barricade, and then scared and chased Bayley like you would chase a 3-year-old. I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, woo, woo, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. You know, when you actually have no intention of catching them. Anyway, Shotzi ran Bayley into the ring where she was immediately pinned with a backslide. Then, Shotzi chased Bayley up the ramp again. I'm gonna catch you, I'm gonna catch you, woo! She like f***ing caught up to her too. She just let her go. So f***ing dumb. I will remind you that Shotzi has now beaten Bayley twice! So now I must ask, why are we still here? Then we had our main event segment as John Cena was on the Grayson Waller effect. And, as is the case with most Grayson Waller effects, this was a waste of time. Waller just berates Cena about being washed, and I'll tell you right now, Cena never got to speak on this show. Cena's about to, but gets cut off by Jimmy Uso, who says everyone is here to see him, and no one wants to see John Cena. Solo Sikoa then came out and got in John Cena's face, then grabbed Jimmy, then attacked John Cena. AJ Styles came out to fend off the bloodline, and Cena hit the 5-knuckle shuffle on Waller to send the fans home happy. I think they forgot the Cena speaks part of the script. I am also really not into this will they, won't they bloodline stuff. It is incredibly convoluted. I don't know what anyone's motivations are anymore, which is the total opposite of where we were a year ago. On the positive side, overall, bloody hell the stars were out for this SmackDown. Still no Roman Reigns, let's not get ridiculous here, but we had The Rock, John Cena, AJ Styles, LA Knight, yeah! Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor, Asuka, Bayley. That's a pretty good week for SmackDown, and as such, I'll give this show a 4 out of 5. Oh yeah, and Pat McAfee! Pat McAfee was on the show! That was SmackDown, I've been Tempest, and that was wrestling! Yeah, I swerve when I drive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. Yeah, I swerve when I need to learn the words to that song.
Top rope!